I don't know what the evidence is that our current system of teacher training is particularly successful in training teachers. As far as I know, it was introduced in the days of Harold Wilson. And before then, we had rather effective state schools called grammar schools, which have been subsequently abolished in an act of extraordinary spite. I think it's also true that the independent schools do not have the requirement that the most state schools have to employ teachers who've gone through the ordinary teacher training system.
But it's different. They're privileged people from privileged, educated backgrounds. We don't start from the same place in life, Peter.
I'll carry on if I might. The point that I'm trying to make here is that the fact that someone has a qualification doesn't necessarily make them a good teacher any more than anything else does. What makes them a good teacher is that ability to teach, the desire to communicate, which some people have, some people don't, and that has to be sorted out actually in practice, as all of us found at school, with the teachers who inspired us and the teachers who didn't. What you really need to worry about, most of all, is making sure that those children who at the moment are denied access to good education because their parents aren't rich, have access to good education, and I think a lot of that good education will be provided by teachers who don't have formal teacher training qualifications. Free schools are a stunt and a gimmick, as are academies. There's no proof that academies are any better than comprehensives. Free schools will never, ever change the lives of most people. What all the parties need to do is to admit that they made a catastrophic mistake in 1965 by abolishing selection by ability and bring it back. Those people who sit on this panel and say they went to comprehensive schools, I think will for the most part turn out not to have gone to normal comprehensive schools, but to the kind of comprehensive schools that only some people can go to. How is it that they go to them? Generally because their parents lived in areas that other people couldn't afford to live in. That is selection by money. That is selection by money. And it is very, very unfair, and it's quite extraordinary that parties which claim to be in favour of improving the situation of the poor constantly refuse to reintroduce a system which selects by ability and which is therefore fair.
Peter, we have it in Kent, and poorer kids are less likely to do well in Kent, where selection is still in place.
I think you're all right. If you want to,
distorted because it's so...
Wait a minute, I want to bring Caroline Flint in.